Hello and welcome to Virtual Kids Club. Today we'll be making homemade Play-Doh. So, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need flour, salt, vegetable oil, and food coloring if you want to color your Play-Doh. I'm going to be using the glitter gel, so we'll see how bright these end up turning out. We are going to be making a candy cane out of the two batches that we'll be making. One of them I'm going to color, and the other one I'm going to leave plain so then we can intertwine them after we're all done. So, go ahead and start off with your flour. You're going to need 2 cups per bowl. And don't worry about exact measurements. Since we're not going to be eating this, you don't have to worry about how it tastes. So, 2 cups of flour per bowl. And I am doubling the recipe because we'll be making the 2 different colors. You can just make one, and according to the recipe that I found on the Pioneer Valley Montessori School's website, you can add 4 teaspoons of cream of tartar or 3 tablespoons of lemon juice with a bit of flour to make an extra preservative to last longer outside of the refrigerator. Of course, you can also stick this in the fridge if you're not done playing with it, but that's completely up to you. Alright, so we're going to combine the flour and the salt. So this is when you need your salt. You're going to need a cup of salt. This bit may take a while, so be patient, that's for sure. So we've got our flour, our 2 cups of flour, and our 1 cup of salt per bowl. I'm just going to give these a quick little mix with my fingers. You can wear gloves or you can do this barehanded. It's completely up to you. Be a really neat sensory play also on top of just absolute fun. So then we're going to also add 1 tablespoon of oil. I don't have the measuring spoon, but it's about a glug. All right. Also going to add water. I pre-measured my water out. It's going to be easier. Here's a baking tip for those who like to bake at home. Whenever you are using a measuring cup and you only have 1 measuring cup of a certain size, like I have for my flour, make sure you go from dry to wet. So measure your flour and stuff first before you do your water or milk or whatever. Makes it a lot easier on yourself. So then at this time we're also going to be adding our red food coloring. So I'm just going to do a couple drops. The recipe says 2. That looked like that was 2. I'm going to add just 1 more for good measure. Alright, and then we're going to mix with our hands. Just be aware if you do decide to do this with your little ones at home and you don't wear gloves or anything like that, there is a good possibility of the food coloring actually staining their skin. So keep that in mind. And what I should have done is I should have started with the uncolored version first. That's all right. We're here to have fun. So just keep mixing until it's good, it's stiff. Looks like I may want to go ahead and add a couple more drops of red, but before I do that, and get my gloves completely dirty. Now we'll go ahead and do it. Do a couple more drops. 1, 2. There we go. And then just keep on mixing. And hopefully that'll brighten up the color some. If anything, it'll add a really cool red streak to the whole thing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Whenever I turn it out onto the newspaper, it'll be easier for me to mix. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here and do the second bowl. Now this is the one that we are leaving plain, just so then we can see. That way whenever we mix it, you can see the differences. Of course, you can add a different color to this one, or if you don't want to add anything at all, that's completely up to you. I saw some websites actually added essential oils to make a smelly Play-Doh. That is completely up to you. Just remember that littles can put, or do put things in their mouth. So if you get a super potent essential oil or something like that, it could get in their eyes or in their mouth. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so got that nice and mixed. My plain Play-Doh came together a lot better than my other one did. We're going to go ahead and take that out. Check that out. See how it's nice and stiff? Keeps its shape. So there's that one. Here's our red. There we go. And I'll give these a couple more minutes of mixing to get them nice and squished together. Now, doubling the batch like this would be great if you have several kids at home. If you are just doing this with one kiddo, I'd say you could probably do just the one set of ingredients. So 2 cups flour, 1 cup salt, 1 tablespoon of oil, 1 cup water, and a couple drops of food coloring. But I wanted to make a bigger batch. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and divide them in half. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and I continued mixing just a little bit to make sure it was nice and soft and I was able to work with it just fine. And then decided to roll it into little balls because why not? So the big batch that we made will easily make several different candy canes or different shapes and stuff like that that you would like to make at home or with your kiddos at a daycare or whatever. So I went ahead and divided them into fourths, or the big batch into fourths, and then I'm going to go ahead and pare it down even more because we're going to make our candy cane. This is my tester, but I'm going to make it a little smaller than that. So, or make the second one a little smaller than that. So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and divide them even smaller. Alright, so, and you can make them as big or as small as you want to, it's completely up to you. But once you get them divided how you want, just give it a roll. And depending on how big or how thick your project is, will definitely depend or will change how long it takes to dry out if you're wanting to use them for ornaments. So, it's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and divide this in half again. And roll it out a little thinner. Just so then, something a little closer to what you would probably make if you were making an ornament. Alright, so there's my white. Go ahead and divide this in half again. Go ahead and roll both of your colors out. Try to get as even as possible, because if you don't, it tries to tear. You can see mine's got a little bit of a narrowness. That's okay. So then, let's set them side by side. And don't worry, I'll be trimming it off at some point, so don't worry about one of them being longer than the other. And I'm just gonna pinch the end together. And then this is a good point in time where your littles can come back, can help you. You just kind of want to twist it. One over the other. And then grown-ups, this is whenever you'll want to take that end and just kind of twist it some more. And as you can see, it tightens up those spirals. You can make the little hook. You can come in on the other end and give it a little bit of a twist too. And don't worry about it being perfect. That's the fun in it. All right. So it looks like mine was going to break right there, so I'm going to pinch it right there. And there's my candy cane. Now I would let this air dry for a while. You'll be able to tell it's ready by touch. It'll be nice and kind of crunchy. So as you can see, because we didn't mix them all the way together, they come apart really easily, and you should be able to set those into the fridge and be able to come back and play with it. If you do decide to use make one of these into an ornament, whenever you're all done making your ornament, this is just an example, take something with a lid or a pencil or something and press a hole, because if you try to poke a hole through it whenever it's all dry, it'll crack and break, and then your ornament will be broken, which is no fun. So that's how you make a candy cane. So you can also use the leftover dough. See, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of it. Like I was saying, you can put it back in the fridge and keep it for a couple of days. And yeah, I remember growing up, we actually used the plain colored one to make snowmen. So it's a lot of fun. All right, and thank you for coming to Kids Club. Hope you have a lot of fun. We'll see you later. Bye.